How many of the top 100 college softball players will be wearing an OU uniform next season? According to Softball America, the ranking was based on past performance, overall value a player adds to their team, and also predicting who is set to have a major impact coming up this spring. So essentially looking back at what each player has done in the past, but also projecting with the future as well. Now, I'll break down each of the 5 Sooners that were listed. Way too high, way too low, just right. Who was snubbed, who should be on this list, and the true freshman most likely to be on this list at the end of the year. But as always, send in your thoughts. Drop those in the comments. Here we go. Ella Parker was the highest-ranked Sooner coming in at number 13. Cassidy Pickering, second highest-rated player, coming in at 16. Followed by Abby Dayton at 24, Sam Landry at number 50, and Ailana Agbayani at number 53. So 5 in total in the top 100, technically 5 in the top 53 for the Sooners. Let me first say, I really like Softball America. I do. I like Softball America, and I think that they do a very good job. But, as we start with Ella Parker, but you can't tell me there's 12 players in college softball that are better than Ella Parker. You can't. And you can't because it's not true. And this was the single biggest disagreement I had with the entirety of the ranking. So it's good that we're kind of getting it out of the way here. You know, I'm not even necessarily saying that I'd have Ella Parker at number 1. But a player that led the team in batting average last year and stolen bases as well, a true freshman on a team full of legends, she didn't just play. She didn't just find a role in the lineup. She led the offense in major statistical categories on a team full of legends, on a team that won a national championship, four-peat. She led everyone with a 4.15 average. Did I mention that she was a true freshman? I keep saying this, but her 2024 season somehow, and I don't know how, is massively overlooked. It should be talked about way more what Ella Parker did last season, hitting 415, the amount of stolen bases that she had. She's not for some reason. She absolutely deserves to be on this list, but she should be higher. And I would love to hear the rebuttal back as to why Ella Parker doesn't deserve to be a top 10 player on this list. You can't say she shouldn't be higher because, well, she's still a young player. Because like I said, as a true freshman, she hit 415 with 73 hits, 15 doubles, 13 home runs, and led the team by a wide margin in stolen bases last year. Maybe they ranked her at 13 because we didn't see her a lot defensively last year. I don't know. But even that, she's such an incredible hitter, along with her base running abilities that we've seen. Those things alone warrant her a spot in the top 10, at least. But it's just a ranking, I know. And I do think that Parker will be in the top 10, even top 5 at the end of the season. I do think that she'll be an All-American in 2025. I absolutely say yes to that. And not just that, I think Ella Parker is absolutely on her way to being the next great player at Oklahoma. Next up, Cassidy Pickering. And a lot of the things I think about Ella Parker, I actually think about Cassidy Pickering. I even sometimes view them as a duo. Am I the only one that does that? I view them as a duo, and maybe because they were both incredible their freshman season on a team that won a national championship. Pickering is at 16, and I just don't think there will be 15 better players in college softball than Cassidy Pickering. She was incredible during the fall and really doesn't show any signs whatsoever of a sophomore slump. In fact, it feels way more likely she'll only build on the incredible 2024 season she had and maybe even put up better numbers than she did a year ago, which would warrant a pretty incredible season. When this list is re-ranked at the end of the season, I'd probably say today that Ella Parker will be the highest ranked player from Oklahoma. But at the same time, I won't be surprised at all if I'm wrong and it's Cassidy Pickering instead. Regardless, I think both Parker and Pickering are top 10 players nationally, and that will be very clear, very, very clear to anyone who watches the sports by the end of the season. Abby Dayton comes in at number 24, which makes 3 Sooners in the top 25. Now, based on the ranking, Softball America looked back at what players have accomplished as well as projecting what they'll do in 2025. So, yeah, Dayton has the resume to be listed as a top 25 player. I think number 24 overall for her is pretty fair for the most part. You could certainly argue, and I would, that she could be a couple of spots higher on this list, given what she did last year at Utah, given what I think that she's going to do at Oklahoma this year. But being a top 25 player going into your junior season is a very, very big honor for any player, certainly Abby Dayton. And I think that she will prove game in and game out that she's one of the best players in the country. And hey, I already think that she's in this conversation. So don't at all be surprised if there's conversations this season about Abby Dayton not only being the best center fielder in the SEC, but one of, if not the best center fielders in all of college softball this season. Sam Landry comes in at number 50, and I have to say I was surprised to see Sam Landry in the top 50. Not because I don't think she's that type of player. If you've watched this channel with any regularity, you know what I think of Sam Landry. I think she's going to be the ace of this staff and have just an incredible season, her best season yet in college softball. I'm only surprised that she's getting the recognition that, frankly, she deserves. Now, she did have a great career at Louisiana, but it's clear Softball America paid attention to what Landry did during the fall. She was clearly, in my mind, without question, the best pitcher on the staff for Oklahoma during the fall. Even against her own lineup, it really didn't matter. Non-OU hitters, OU hitters. That might be the best lineup in all of the country this year, and she was exceptional against her own lineup. So good on Softball America for being on top of what some softball fans might not realize yet, and that's that Sam Landry is about to be one of the best pitchers in the SEC. The final Sooner on the list coming in at number 53, Ailana Agbayani. And okay, I get it. You can't have all 5 OU players in the top 25. Or maybe you can. What am I talking about? They're pretty good. Softball America is trying to be fair to all the players, all the other teams out there, as fair as possible. I get that. But Agbayani is better than number 53 on this list. And I say that not because of bias. I say it because of what she's already accomplished playing college softball. Hit .424 last season in the Big 12. Top 5 in the conference in a league that was extraordinary last year. Oklahoma won the national championship. Texas played in the championship series. Oklahoma State made it to the Women's College World Series. It was as good of a year as the Big 12 has maybe ever had, and Ailana Agbayani was one of the best hitters in that conference. .424, .534 on base percentage, 12 stolen bases. The numbers were insane last year. And yeah, she looked incredible in the fall for the Sooners as well. Hey, I get it. A top 100 list isn't easy, and there will be way more disagreements than agreements. So put me down as someone who thinks Agbayani should be ranked way higher than 53. Again, using their reasoning, I think that's the case because of what she's accomplished in the past and what I think she'll do in 2025 as a starter in OU's middle infield and the leadoff hitter as well. In my last video, I laid out that she's going to be a chaos coordinator this season for the Sooners. I mentioned she'll be deadly as a leadoff hitter. But remember this one. Number 53 today, okay, but a postseason list will have Agbayani much higher at the end of the season. She's poised for a massive year. Okay, so how about a player that's not currently ranked in the top 100 that I think will be at the end of the season? So any player not named Ella Parker, Cassidy Pickering, Abby Dayton, Sam Landry, or Ailana Agbayani. I could go several different directions here. That speaks to the talent level at OU. But how about a captain? I can pick a captain to be a top 100 player at the end of the season. Seems simple to me. How about Captain Nelly? Nelly McEnroe-Marinas will be on this list at the end of the season. Just so much to like. And I'm not going to use the word snubbed with Nelly. I get why she wasn't ranked in the top 100. Didn't get to see her last season. Still a big unknown nationally. But that's going to be over really, really soon. Give it a few more months, and I promise you that's going to change with Nelly. She's not named a captain as a redshirt freshman if there's not belief in the program that she's about to have a massive year and be an incredible leader. And this is a program, by the way, that knows what great players, great leaders look like. Nellie's the starting third baseman. She locked that down this fall, and that beautiful swing of hers is going to produce some big numbers at the plate in 2025. Hey, I'm not going to go full homer here. I'm not going to tell you Nellie will be top 5 or top 10, though none of us should put a limit on what she can accomplish. But I am telling you that Nellie will be one of the best 100 college softball players this season. That bats, that glove, that athleticism, that leadership we're going to see. If you haven't already become a huge fan of Nellie, get ready. You better hurry. Spots are filling up because you're about to be a huge fan of Nellie McEnroe-Marinas coming up very soon. The most likely freshman to be voted a top 100 player at the end of the season. I have 2 freshmen projected as starters today, so I feel like it probably has to be one of those 2. Tia Malloy is my right field projected starter, but that's far from a guarantee. I think she's locked in a position battle, and a position battle that's going to continue into the season. The freshman that I feel probably best about being an everyday starter right now is Gabby Garcia. Not a guarantee. Sid Barker and others will really push her for that spot. But Garcia is the freshman I think is most likely to be on this list at the end of the season. The biggest reason, her glove is legit. Shortstop in Oklahoma is a very high-profile position, which will absolutely help her cause to get on this list if she has a great year. But how she hits as a freshman, that's going to be a very big part of this. I've got confidence that she's going to defend, do all the little things necessary to be a great player as a true freshman. But if she has all of that and hits as well, she's going to have a chance to be in this group at the end of the year. The final count for teams with top 100 players, Texas and UCLA led the way with 6 players apiece, followed by Oklahoma, Florida, and Oklahoma State with 5 players apiece. OU was tied at 5 with Florida and Texas with players in the top 53. A quick rundown of the top 5. Nigeri Kennedy of Texas Tech was ranked number 1. Jocelyn Erickson, the former Sooner, now at Florida, was ranked number 2. Reese Atwood at Texas came in at number 3. Carlin Pickens, the pitcher at Tennessee, came in at number 4. And another name of interest, another former Sooner, Jordy Ball at Nebraska, came in at number 9, just inside the top 10. So let me know who should be the highest-ranked player for the Sooners, who was snubbed, who should have been on the list. Let me know in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching.